Okay, welcome everyone. And so to kind of wrap up our discussion on importing data, up to now, we've mostly been using the reader package, and we've been using like the read underscore CSV function to import CSV, to import a CSV file, which is the most common way, the most universal file format for large data sets. But sometimes you're working with other people who might be using other software packages like Excel or Stata or SPSS or Minitab or some other software. And they all have file types that are their own file type. So the question might be, how can we read files from other software packages into R? So I have a colleague, maybe they prefer to work in Excel. They shared an Excel file with me, and I want to do my analysis in R. How can I read that Excel file into R, for example? So when you're working with Excel files, there are other packages that you can use. I've listed some of them up top, but I think the most popular one is the readxl package. So that is already installed in Colab. So you don't need to install it, but you do need to load it if you would like to use it. And so this was developed by the same folks that developed the ggplot2 and other tidyverse packages. So it works very well in the tidyverse. I will just caution you that it is not a core tidyverse package, so it does not get loaded when you do library tidyverse. So that's why I had to load this separately with just the library readxl command. And here is an Excel file that I have. And what I want to do is this file lives in GitHub. So the first thing I want to do is download this file into my drive. That's what this is going to do. So I had that Excel file, which was called Health and Wealth, and now I can see that this file now exists in my working directory. And the file is called health-wealth.xlsx. So this is the file extension for Excel files. Okay, so the first thing I needed to do was get the file into my working directory, which I did with this download file command. Now I've got an Excel file, which is called healthwealth.xlsx. And with Excel files, if you're familiar with them, you could have a workbook that has multiple sheets. That's not something that you can have with a CSV file. And so if you want to import just one of the sheets in your Excel workbook, so if you're not familiar with Excel workbooks, then you probably wouldn't be working with an Excel file. But I think most of us are probably familiar with Excel notebooks, and they have different sheets that we can have in one file. And if I want to just create a data frame from one of those sheets, then I can indicate that with the sheet argument. So the package I'm using is readxl. So I needed to load that library. The Excel file I want to import is called health-wealth.xlsx. The function name that I'm going to read it into R with is called read_xl. And again, this function is not available in the reader package. I have to load the readxl package. This function is available in that package. And all I need to do is type the file name, just like the other read files. If my Excel file happens to have multiple worksheets and I only want to load one of them, then I can indicate which sheet from that workbook I want to create my data frame from. I'm going to run this code cell. It's going to create a new data frame called health_wealth. and we'll see what that looks like on the screen. So this is a larger data frame. Now it has 224 rows, 14 variables. So not everything is printed here. I get this nice kind of enhanced print that fit it just to the screen. So I can see all of these, what the kind of raw file looks like at first. And there's all sorts of issues in here. This is extremely untidy, and there would be a lot of work to be done to tidy this data up. One thing I can do is use the clean names function that we saw earlier that was in the janitor package. And at least what that does is it cleans up the column names really quickly. So that did a pretty nice job. And if you got an error message when you tried to run this, it's because clean names is from a package called janitor. And so you might need to first run this command to load that package, and then run this command to use the clean names function from the janitor package. You might need to install the janitor package into your Colab session first and then load it as well. But this cleans up the names. And there are other options that you can use inside of the readxl function. So this is again from the readxl package. It's not from the reader package, but this is the readxl package. And first I enter the file name. That's always the first thing that we enter. There's an option that I can indicate which sheet would I like to import. There's an option, maybe you don't want to import the entire sheet, but just the range of cells within that sheet. I can specify that. I can choose my custom column names on the import. So just like the read CSV function has additional arguments that you can customize on the import, so does readxl. And I won't get into all of them, but here's a sample of some of the arguments that are available to you. So this took the health data and just loaded some of the columns and some of the rows, starting with Albania and going up to Argentina, for example. Okay, so I will stop here. If you are familiar with some of these other packages like SAS and SPSS, just know that there are other packages available for you to import files that have extensions that work well in those other software. Same for Stata and Systat. If you're familiar with those software and you're familiar with working with file types from those software, if you want to take any previous files that you had and work with them in R, just know that there are packages and functions available for you to import those file types into R as well. All right, thank you, everybody.